How's it going? Just started the recording. Okay.
All right, I'm doing all right.
All right, we're doing
How you
sets
doing?
today, right?
I suppose so. Yeah, we can do that.
Or I was curious. I forgot what the session was for. Let me see. I've been doing.
Yeah, I kind of have a lot of stuff
No,
in
no,
this
it's good.
video.
It's good.
Yeah.
I read the link thing.
Hmm.
My opinion on that is I thought your Brian was pretty good, and I thought
Yeah.
that I had ideas of talking about adaptations. Funnily enough, I've been having that conversation a lot lately. So, um, oh you said our first use. Okay, so let's play a bit, and then I'll talk about it. But let me boot up, and I'll talk about what I was thinking. So the efficient way to make optimizations or adaptations in this game is not from a position of making like just like raw reads off of what they're doing at all times. That is an inefficient way of doing it. Instead, what we want to do is we want to identify an optimal like default way to play our character for the given matchup and player as much as possible. And that default will have strengths and weaknesses, right?
Sure.
Or more concretely, it'll have answers. It'll have like things that it beats and things that it gets beaten by. So we apply that default because it's efficient and and consistent and strong. And when the opponent demonstrates that they have answers to elements in that default, we have we have prepared adjustments. So the adaptations are no longer in a vacuum, but are in this context of my winning strategy, what beats my winning strategy, and how do I counter the counters to that, right?
Yeah, sure. Gotcha.
So, when I think of Brian, right, he's not by default like a strong control character necessarily, right? His pokes have you can move around his pokes. They have like mental frame advantage, but not like they're not like a stacking advantage over and over, except for hatchet kick, right? When I think of Brian's safest, strongest strengths, it's the ability to counter hit launch you from many ranges, from many timings, and once he counter hits you, you're at the wall and you have to deal with taunt mix up, right? So, when I think of it that way, my idea of a default for Brian is a kind of passive, low exposure offense with like small pokes, and then trying to find the counter hit timings, right? The counter strategy to that would be someone who completely disengages and just doesn't fight you, right? So you can't find a counter hit if they're not hitting a button, kind of thing. And the counter to that is the mix up game with hatchet kick, the mental frames on the pokes, right? So how I imagine it happening is making adaptations in that context. Is that I'm looking for, if I were to play Brian, that's how I would play it. I'm looking for these big counter hits, looking for obvious timings. I'm willing to get bullied a bit if it means that they open themselves up. And if they are truly turtling, then I have these offensive strategies to counter that. And there's obviously more nuance and depth depending on the matchup and situation and things like that. But that's how I see the approach to making adaptations. So if you play Ling, it would be different. It would be, you would have to adjust it for that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Let's see. Are we friends on Steam?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What's your username?
Western Meadow. Oh, sorry, I'm offline.
No worries. Boom. Okay. Give me 1 sec to run to the restroom.
Sure.
Do you have to go right on the hour, or you have a bit of extra time?
I have extra time.
Okay, then I'll stick around, like, the last time or whatever.
Okay.
All right, sorry, I'm ready.
Very good. So I'll go ahead.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7, Noctis Lucis Kylum.
I don't really like any of these stages. Let's go here.
Get ready for the next battle.
The kind of vacuum thing definitely applies to me. I find myself in a vacuum more often than not.
Yeah, you want to know the answers to your game plan and how the counter does it. It really helps lock it down because the game has so many options.
Fight.
Yeah.
KO.
Backdash, yeah.
Round 2. Fight. KO. Round 3. Fight.
Oh.
KO. Round 4. Fight.
Oh my god. Oop.
KO. Final round. Fight.
Oh.
KO.
Gladium! Yep. Fishing looks good here.
Hands are stiff.
Yeah, no worries.
I find myself freezing up a lot.
Warming up a bit.
Gotta take my jacket off.
Get ready for the next battle.
I'm finding that I'm having a lot of doubt in my own. I'm lacking confidence right now, I guess. Even though I know I don't need to. It's been a while.
Yeah, just think about what you want to do in this matchup, and then we're diagnosing where it works and where it doesn't work.
Round 1. Fight.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Round 2. Fight. KO. Round 3. Fight. KO. Round 4. Fight.
Oh shit. Oh my god, I hit ground?
KO. Final round. Fight.
Oh, that was a good walk. Ow. So something I like a lot is your mid-low sense is very good. Every time I'm in a situation where it's like 50-50 mid-low poke, you always win. It's really annoying. So I'm winning. So I'm playing off the sense that like at range 2.5, range 3, after we both backdash away or something, I'm playing off the sense that you're probably looking for a 3+4 or back 1, and then I'm looking for the sidestep, right? And that's kind of my default right now. So until that gets answered, I'm not making any adaptations on that layer of the game. I'm just like, okay, this is working, so I'm just going to do that. And then I know that if you want to counter me doing that, you have to use down 2, you have to use down 4, you have to use down by 3, right? You have these options to beat that. So because I've mapped that out in advance, my adaptation is already mapped out, right? It's just a matter of figuring out specifically when you're looking for it. But I know that once you start answering my sidewalk right, things like that, I'm going to have my own strategy prepared. So that's kind of the framework for the adaptations I'm making. God damn. Oh my god. No, you killed me for what I did. Oh my god.
Round 2. Fight.
Okay. I'm slow.
KO. Round 3. Fight. Round 4. Fight.
Oh. Oh my god. Oh. I was looking for a hatchet timing, so it came so much faster than I expected.
Yeah.
Get ready for the next battle.
Noctis was parry elbows too, right? And knees.
Does not parry elbows and knees. No.
Oh,
Only it's a regular parry plus weapons.
Round 1.
okay.
Fight.
Wow, the two.
Okay.
KO. Round 2. Fight. KO. Round 3. Fight.
Oh shit.
That's
KO. Round
Yeah.
Fight.
Oops.
Final round. Fight.
Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh!
Really? Can't step that.
Plenty of
Yep.
It's good here.
Damn, that was close.
Mm-hmm. If you duck the back one too, I die.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And for some reason, I was thinking the high was also punishable. Maybe it is, but not that punishable.
Get ready for the next battle.
What's the is it back 2, your little lightning thing?
-9.
Oh, okay. Does that crush high? Does it have like
Certain jabs, yeah. So Bryan jab loses to it.
fuck? I know you use it a lot in general, but is that why you use it a lot against me?
I use it as a mid read usually, and it just happens to also duck highs. So it's like a multi-coverage thing. But your walks are good on it. It has a long whiff recovery, so if you walk it like you did, like yeah, definitely jet up period.
Fight. Round two.
Minus 13. Oops. What? What?
God.
Round three. Fight.
Oh.
Really hoping that was splat. Then
Round
rage
four.
drive. Yeah.
Fight.
Yep. So let's pause. What do you notice yourself dying to?
My gut reaction is to say pokes, punishes.
Any other situational things you're noticing?
Well, right now I've kind of lost sight of, because I was kind of aware of like what the back and forth was in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then because I noticed the sidestep right.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've stopped doing that. Now I'm not entirely sure what we're doing.
Yeah. Let's watch back some of the last game, just the previous one.
Okay.
So I didn't feel like you were hard countering my sidestep right, but you did stop dying to it. So both that works too, right? You that is within, well within, like no problem, like that's fine. You know?
Ready for the next battle.
Damn it.
All right. Sorry. Am I sharing my screen?
Round one.
No.
Okay, let me pause it.
Fight.
Donor alert. Aha. All right. This is the OBS recording. So okay. So. Where's the fucking? Here we go. I want to see if it's a punish or something or counter hit. Okay, so see that I'm like still defaulting to the sidestep right, but you're not throwing the big move, so you're not dying to it. But you died to my default, which is doing basically what you're doing, but mine's homing. So just combo. reading a toe kick.
KO. Round 2. Fight.
So that round was the counter hit at range 2. Basically the same way you use 3+4. I used forward 1+2, and then it was just wall situation. Here, and the thing you're doing 1-2, which is beating it. It's pretty good. And then I'm sitting still, so you're covering. That would have covered my right, so be good. Yep, this is all fine. You hit me with what I hit you with. So same shit. Like we're both kind of living and dying by that like range 3 counter hit attempt. Range 2.5. Messed up. I broke that, I swear. Crazy game. Alright, but you're still winning, so. So what I see here that was a consistent problem is like, I think you played as if I were coming in, right? Which makes sense because of that counter hit forward 1+2. But if you're reading forward 1+2, I don't swing here, I just block and then take the -9 advantage, you know? So in this case, this down 4-2 is a bit scary because if I'm sharper, I whiff punish it, and it also still runs the risk of dying to my forward 1+2. So here I would make it a dash attack or just block. 1-2 again, covering my step, hatchet because I'm really doing nothing, and then you win the 50-50, which you tend to do.
Round 3. Fight.
Alright, so I'm playing down forward 1. I'm playing like some faster interrupts. Alright, I disrespect your plus whatever. What is it? +4, I think.
Yeah, I thought you might. Or when I got countered,
Here we go.
like a read on my dash button.
Yeah, so I just disrespect it. It was a read on your dash button, but it wasn't like, it didn't have to be dash button. It could have been anything. Could have been a slow button. I just intentionally was like, oh yeah, is he gonna trap me or not? Like maybe I'll kill him. Disrespect again, right? So +5, and then I just hit you. So that's another, that's a good parry. That was the main thing I noticed this set, was I was able to play out of frame and kill you for it. So that's something you want to be really attuned to as well.
Round 4.
Is like, yes, you have plus frames. Do I even care? like you want to have a sense of what your opponent actually cares about or what they're paying attention to. And based on the way I'm playing, I care a lot about finding these whiffs and these sidesteps, and then I'm playing out of frame. So you can develop a strategy for that, right? Okay, yeah, so you beat me in the neutral there. I disrespect again. This should give you a clue, by the way. Those previous interactions and these mashes should give you a clue that I'm kind of defaulting to a disrespectful thing. So even if for now I decide to just block, you have that in the back of your head. Like, oh, sometimes I can just play frame trap and get damage. I don't have to do anything too layered. You know what I mean?
That's true. Okay.
Right. So, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wonder if that's where
Piece of
that's,
cake.
like, gather my thoughts. Like, I wonder if that's where I'm getting lost. Is that I think the, like if we're looking at it like a tree or something. Like I feel like the mind games, the layers keep getting higher and higher and higher, but in reality they just go back down.
Yes, they loop around. They loop around. They do not. It is not like chess where the decision tree goes deeper and deeper and deeper. It at a certain point in this game it loops around, and usually it's like 3 or 4 layers or something.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if that's because I definitely was like when you were first talking about the how it was risky for me to throw out my down forward 2 because of your forward 1+2 stuff. At that point, it might have been even earlier, but I know definitely at that point I was no longer in the game.
Oh, you mean you were like lost in thought or something?
Yeah, I was just lost in the sauce. Yeah, I lost sight of what we were doing.
Oh, okay, yeah. So how I saw the structure of the games. Let's watch back some more. Sorry, I didn't. This is helpful to know that you were kind of lost in thought and like. So, remember the context of where we're starting. So both of our defaults playing against each other. That is the basis, and you are trying to understand what parts of that default am I concerned about, so that you can exploit the parts I'm not concerned about.
Yeah. It gives context to everything else. Like the basis that we're talking about.
So let me talk about. So first, let's talk about what. Or let's watch this through, and as we watch through, I'll talk to you about what I was looking for and what I was concerned about, and then you can maybe help contextualize after the fact. Yeah. So when I'm looking here is I know Bryan has the big counter hits, so I'm looking for that step right. I don't know your timing yet, so I'm not gonna fully commit to it, but I'm that's what I'm hunting for. And then I want to see like what am I doing that will get you to hatchet kick me or something. So that caught me off guard. I was like, whatever. That was surprised by that. I was like, oh, okay, so this tells me that forward 1+2 is gonna hit from range 5. But afterwards I was actively thinking like, okay, well maybe I should see like how they handle like other situations. So I didn't like force the forward 1+2 issue. I was just kind of like, okay, well that'll work. I get half HP off that. So I notice you're playing like fast interrupts on my pokes here. So I'm doing like down forward 1, 1, 2, sidestep, and then I get clipped out of that. So I notice you're playing some like fast interrupts and then it slows down again. So I chill out. I'm again looking for that. So that just because I block that, I kind of have a sense of like, okay, so this is coming around there. This is coming around there. And I'm still looking for it. Like I'll mess up a few times, but that's what I'm looking for. As a default against Bryan as Noctis, I know that I can look for that. So I was looking for a 3+4 there, but it ended up being the same thing. Back one, I can't really walk to the right there, but yeah. And then you see that I kind of disrespect your frames with the jab.
Fight.
So what that tells me subconsciously is that if I block a back one, I'm not really afraid of the frame advantage. Like I'm not afraid of the mix-up. So here I play some offense to see if you'll duck. You don't. I get him. That was crazy. Noctis. I notice my step rights are working, so at this point I have not really, I'm no longer trying to formulate a crazy new default or like make adaptations. I'm like, okay, if I just play my game of like the quick poke game, I can find whiffs and find sidestep right whiffs by default. So at this point I was more looking for how can I induce you to do it, what am I doing that can do it, and then avoiding killing myself like that. So. Yeah, fast interrupt pokes again, nothing crazy. You do the 1-2 thing, so a little bit. That was good. Yeah, so you did taunt when I read a 3+4, so by the time I put in my block, you just hit me. Or back one, I was reading either of those. Soft read, you know, like I'm not like betting my life on it, but I'm like, oh, this will probably work. I'm trying to find that range again where you'll do it, and then you did QCB2 and it clipped me, so I'm like, oh, okay. So there's other moves I need to be concerned about, maybe. Still looking for it. 4-4 1+2 to see if I can catch you coming in greedily, because I've been blocking for a while. It's not like... I'm not reading too deeply into what you're doing. I'm still looking for the sidestep right, and then... That was really good, what you did there, where you did the low poke and then full crouch and then 174, yeah. So, yeah, I think your mid-low sense is really, really good. So it's just kind of... Once your offense starts losing, have a plan, right?
These like little bits. Like muscle memory.
Yeah. So,
I like to usually after like a small exchange, like I'll do like a down 4. I'll usually backdash and look for I'll do a preemptive backswing.
yeah.
Prep the QCB.
So these are fine defaults to have. You just want to know what beats them so that you can readjust, right? So here, I eat this hatchet. I haven't changed my plan. Like, I ate a poke. Sure, I'm not sweating the hatchet because I haven't eaten enough hatchets to make me change my mind about what I'm doing. I'm still backdashing and looking for that. I don't down forward 2 because I was, like, a little more anxious that I ate the hatchet, but, like, I'm not sweating, right? I'm still, like... I didn't... At no point in this did I fully change my approach. My game plan was still the same. It was just tweaking it to meet your, like, rhythm and your things like that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. So, on your end... What I would have looked for is maybe like, oh, he's really just stand blocking most of the time. Like if I can avoid getting counter hit, I can go in and hit him with hatchet kicks and go and hit him with lows, make him care about that more, and then see what response that drives, right? Like at what point can I get him to stop literally doing nothing? Because outside of the quick poke interrupts, which aren't really doing a lot, I'm just finding big counter hits or big whiff punishes. Like you're winning here. You're winning here. And okay, got me to baited me with like a fake whiff, you know. That was crazy. This was crazy.
Round 2. Fight.
That's all information for you too. is, you know, I'm just stand blocking. Like, you don't see any fuzzies, you don't see any like duck reads at all. So it's like you have good insight. Now you see me fuzzy, right? You saw that little fuzzy, and then you go mid. I don't know if you do that consciously or subconsciously, but like you can, like, I think on some level you can tell. Now it's like bringing it to conscious for strategy. So I lost there, but I stick to the same plan, right? Backdash with punch. I haven't experienced enough counters to my gameplay to make me change. I just was making mistakes like mashing, right? So like, to me, that's not a strategic fault. That's me just needing to be cleaner. So because of that, I just stick to the same plan. Still backdashing. Sidewalk right. Because I kept walking. The 1-2 beats like step button, but if I keep walking, I can get around it. At least it's Noctis. You see, I'm sticking to the same plan. The only thing I've cleaned up is my willingness to mash against strings. And that's more of a cleanliness issue than like a strategic issue, right? Same plan. Same plan. I reacted to your animation as if it were 3+4. Do you see that? Because I do a down forward too. So I said, right, I see you advance. I thought that was a whiff, so I hit down forward 2 and then I get hit. Yeah. But that just shows you like where my head is, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely points in later matches where it started to become more clear, where I could see more clearly like where your head's at.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can so again, the benefit of knowing your default, knowing your strategy, your initial plan lets you catch on to these things faster. Because I was able to catch on to your timing because I had this character matchup in my head already. I'm like, okay, I'm going to look for the step rights and I just have to tweak it. Oh, he's finishing his strings. I can tweak it a bit. I'll just won't mash on those and then stick to the same plan. So that's why I don't get hit by any of these, right? Because you saw that the first 2 rounds that you beat me, I was mashing into those strings. And so I'm like, okay, I need to stop that. Same plan, step right. Yeah, yeah. And so the point you want to get to in your awareness is like you can look at my movement and try and determine that.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
like intentional movement.
And in your defense, not a lot of people are going to be doing intentional movement, but this is what you want to get to is like use your awareness to determine what your opponent cares about and then hit the holes in that. For lack of a better description. Like you want to, so like let's look at why you won this one, right? This is a good, I think this is where I pointed it out. I don't remember, but either way, something clearly changed. Either I slipped up on my game plan, I got distracted, or you were outplaying me. So let's find out. Let's take a look.
Damn it! You serious?
Round 1. Fight.
Okay, so I don't know what the fuck I did there, but I got hit. Probably ran in, did a quick poke. Got me kind of hit. I did the wrong wall combo, so I stopped. Counter hit, nothing. Did a parry, so I played like an idiot. Alright, and then I start backdashing, I do some poking, I'm looking for rage drive a little bit, playing some strings, and then step right. Mess up. I think you outplay me here, yeah.
Round 2.
So that capitalizes on me, like literally, like you only saw me do that fuzzy like once in the past like 3 games. Otherwise, I was just stand blocking. So even though I may have been looking for it, the output was that there was no low blocks. There was a little fuzzy there. Little side step right again. Moving forward. Oh, that was good. There, you covered it. And then now I'm blocking, right? So you covered my step right. This is a good counter adjustment. You covered my step right. And then all the history has told you that I'm never like blocking low. So like this is a good hatchet kick, right? And then you cover a possible step right again or a mash, which is good because I've been mashing. A small whiff, but you didn't whiff anything huge. So I was slow and I died.
Round 3. Fight.
Okay, same plan. I haven't changed my strategy. I've done the same thing. And like a lot of lower level players will be doing the same thing. So once you find it, it's a matter of just being as clean as possible while you abuse it. But here I'm just playing my offensive poke game. Gotta get a wall splat or something. Yeah, Noctis threatens the same range as Bryan, so it's a little scary to feel too free after your 3+4.
KO.
That's something I think that
Round 4.
is awkward for Bryan players initially playing against Noctis, is that like he threatens the same range, so you're not as free to act. You want to look for those whiffs if you can, because Noctis players will whiff that a lot for however like the 1 in a million you run into. Okay, so this time, what am I doing? I'm throwing you recovering my sidestep with some faster pokes and some interrupts, so I'm looking for some up forward 1, right? Still some mini sidestep rights. I expect a whiff to jab, that's what the up forward 4 is. Yep, I'm responding to your 1-2. Hit me with that. Like mash out of my shit. Yeah, so I stop being clean. And then you go low twice, because I'm not blocking that. Right, so you can tell that even though I was winning a bunch, and I started losing, my strategy was still kind of the same. I just got less clean. I started cracking, right? Like started cracking in my defense and like started being a bit more active. That's something you can also pay attention to, and doesn't necessarily require a change in strategy, but a small tweak in how you're applying your offense.
I see.
And again, whether it's subconscious or conscious, your mid-low game continues to be like outplaying me consistently.
Round 1. Fight.
So I'm still backdashing. I run into that shit. I think I run into another. So you'll see like I'm using 2-2. I haven't used a lot of that before. Part of the reason is that I don't want to joust 2-2 against your 3+4. That's like not a favorable trade if I lose. So I don't default to it. Now I noticed you were like you weren't whiffing as much, right? So I threw out some 2-2s to see if I could control your other choices, your approach, things like that. Definitely could have killed me there.
Round 2. Fight.
Alright, so I'm throwing out some more like pokes at range. Now I chill out a bit. Power crush me. I'm running a more offensive approach. I run some aggressive lows off of like your inactivity, like because I was playing kind of inactive, right? So I ran some lows aggressively to see if I could like catch you thinking I was doing nothing. Now I'm chilling again. I see that. Do some down 2, see if I can like incite some action. I get a hatchet kick out of you, but I don't look very yet. I thought I got a whiff punish, and then you did the third hit. Yeah, so basically, in my mind, there wasn't enough counterplay to my sidestep right to convince me to stop doing it.
Fight.
Yeah.
Right? I was still getting full rounds off of it, and maybe I lose like 1 or 2, right?
And yeah, I started throwing more knock kicks.
Yeah, mock kick is one answer. A lot of down 2, a lot of down 4. Yeah, that's good. That shit's good. God. Okay, so until you got counter hit by that, you were winning. You were like outplaying me in so many situations. Right? So again, that's kind of a Noctis specific thing, but you want to be considerate of like, or be cognizant of the range your opponent can threaten as well when you choose to use your move like that. I'm sitting doing nothing. Back 1 gives you more advantage. This was kind of like that down forward 2 from before, where I'm at a range where if I come in, it'll hit me. But because my default is so much sidestep right backdash, it doesn't, the math doesn't add up for doing a move at that range like this. You would want to close the gap. The danger, of course, being the counter hit tools, but again, I'm mostly backdashing, so you're not seeing a lot of back 1 up forward 1+2, so, or up forward 1 or forward 1+2. And then yeah, you bait me again with a whiff punish there. Kind of nasty.
Fight.
Sidestep right, and then this plays into how I was playing the first couple rounds, where I was doing a lot of 2-2s and sidestep 2s and like faster pokes and trying to control you. So I left my default of just backdashing and I started doing some moves. That loses to your default here because I don't think you really changed what you were doing. You were still throwing the back ones at similar timings and spacings. But you'll notice that because I left my default, I started losing. Because my default is built to counter what your strategy kind of was. And when I abandoned that, I died. So that's when I said, oops, like, that's my bad. You know, I need to stick to what I'm doing because the back ones are still coming. So I resumed the plan. I'm on player 1 side, so I'm more comfortable. I'm just going to do some quick pokes. Oh, wow. There we go. Happened sooner than I expected. I was like, okay, it might take a bit. But... Okay, and here I'm just chilling. I know I have to look for the hatchet kick, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, I'm chilling here. I know that a whiff's going to come. I messed up. Oh, God. Yeah. Panicking. Yeah, so like really in the neutral, you can see like there are these micro situations where it's kind of we're guessing or like we're playing like wall situation, which is not true neutral. And there's not too much strategy there. You just got to be as clean as possible. Don't expose yourself and then like guess the mid low. That's kind of the non-deep part. And then there's the deep part in the neutral where the sidestep outplays happen or the counter hits happen, right? Can you see like the distinction between those two areas of the game?
Between like the wall and true neutral.
Yeah. So like after a combo is hit, the counter hits hit, and then it's the wall guessing game. That's not really as deep. It's kind of like we're RPSing for our lives, right? Yeah. So 2 areas of the game: neutral, strategy, movement options, finding counter hits, finding whiffs, winning poke battles, right? And then like fixed situations. Guessing to survive wall, wake up situations. So you want to observe these fixed situations, but there's not a lot of strategy that's going to win you a lot of games here. The game is won a lot in this like neutral state, right? A lot of players at lower level will have really optimized fixed situation stuff where they can like, I know that if you spring kick here and I do this backdash, you'll beat that, or I know this there, and that's important. But you are pretty strong in these situations already. Like when I'm at 1 HP guessing for my life, you always win. But here is where I think you're mentioning adaptations and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So, how do we train neutral, right? Like how do we? So it's force your eyes to take in all the data. So you're looking at backdashes, fuzzy guards, ducks, sidesteps, etc. Doing nothing is punishable, just like doing moves are, right?
Yeah.
AKA free mix-up, right? So you want to be really aware of that. So when somebody's just moving around and your back one is whiffing, you're like, hold on, they're not really doing anything. Why don't I just run up and hatchet kick them? Run up and like use I have like 7 different, or like, 4 different lows that have different timings?
Yeah.
So if they're just chilling, like I know how to open them up. And your goal with that is to get them acting again so that you can do your safe shit and it blows them up, right? Force your eyes to take in all the data. Have a game plan. Understand so like, have a game plan like ABC. Understand what beats ABC, right?
Yeah.
Such as XYZ. That kind of makes sense. Like there are options that beat ABC.
Yeah.
Think about
Which is like
and
Brian's like 3+4 in neutral for
yeah.
and then okay.
Think about and apply what counters XYZ.
Yeah.
So have a game plan ABC. You're a default. Understand what beats that. Think about what apply, and then use the data you see to understand what your opponent is looking for and what they're not. Make small adjustments to counter what they're doing and abuse what they're not seeing. Right? And then on your end, keep defense, etc. clean, right? That's really like you saw that when I was dying, it was when I stopped being clean. I started doing more mashing, trying to like sneak in like with like cheeky hits, stuff like that. And I think you get that. I think you get that part. This part seems fine. It's more this. So the hard part is that frustration and tilt, which I think we talked about before, usually gets in the way of this part, right? Because you can prepare this part and be pretty chill. Frustration and tilt gets here. So what I found is that when I tell myself this is my task and this is my only task, not winning, not ranking, not outplaying anything, like even if I drop my combos, all that, if this is my only task, it makes me almost automatically better at finding adaptations. It almost doesn't even need to be like, how do I adapt? How do I learn? It's just really look at what they're doing. And if I've done the work to if I've had the experience and done the work to know the strategies and the counter strategies, then the adaptations come. Yeah. It's kind of like getting out of the way to let them come in or setting them up to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have put like a lot of notes in. I was taking like a lot of notes before and after our last session.
Hell yeah.
Kind of died off, but yeah, like a lot of the notes like kind of that worked for me. They kind of described that like, all right, just play Bryan for a set. Don't think about anything. It was kind of just like what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like what you were just talking about just now. Is like and I did. That was the result that I found. Is like, oh, I'm playing better.
Yeah.
And I do kind of find that every now and then I'm able to like visually see the game plan like we were doing for me 3 matches in.
Yeah.
But I was just able to just see it. And having that be my default like it is for you is I'm certainly pretty far from that. And I think which fine. So like so that just takes practice with like what I'm doing right now is like, okay.
Yeah, so
force your eyes to take in all the data, just have that be my goal.
Yeah, exactly. Have that as your primary goal. So and so you're welcome to play Ling as like D tilt or things like that, but I definitely will caution against dividing your time and energy and brain space, because this ABC XYZ thing is simple written, but is really, really like there's a lot. Like that's probably the hardest part of Tekken. Like once you have all this mapped out, the game simplifies. Like you were saying, there's really not that many layers. It actually is wrapping around. It's kind of simple. But this part of the game is the part that most people get stuck in. Like this is and I am still working on it, right? Like unless you have like a mentor or somebody to just tell you and they're trustworthy and they actually know what they're talking about, this is the hard part of the game. Is like, what is my ABC that beats their XYZ? And if you're playing Ling, this becomes a different ABC, and it's countered by different things. So you introduce a lot more variables there. That's the whole thing. So I definitely encourage continuing to have fun. Like don't punish yourself like in the effort to learn. But yeah, so I would say think about the game as Bryan with this, and then have Ling as like a D-tilter. But like this is definitely, once you lock in this part, I'm very confident in your ability to do this, because even subconsciously, you are outplaying me in every mid-low. I'm just losing. Like you're just better. Like that's literally the bottom line. You're just better. I am just better at taking in the data, having my game plan, and then making the adjustments that matter to win the game. But you have skills that are really strong. So if you can access those with these other skills, it's going to be nasty. I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was thinking, like, just like a few minutes ago, is like, I wonder if that's kind of what it's just all coming to, is like, okay, like I'm starting to get to the point where, I'm at like a strong growing point. I have like a good path like set for me, but kind of like I mentioned in my description on Medify, that like I guess mostly both against randos and like my friends. Excuse me. It's just, I mean, because I'm extremely competitive. I've always been.
Yes.
And like even in like little verbal grunts or gripes or whatever it comes out, even in
Yes,
our matches.
you were very passionate.
Yeah.
Iron Fist Tournament 7.
This might not be helpful. This might be helpful. I want you to watch me play Bryan for like 2 seconds and see like I'm horribly unoptimized and shit, but I feel very confident beating these people. So,
Sure.
and my strategy is really lame. I literally just do this, and then find this, and then do that, and then like it's kind of hilarious. We'll see if I don't find a match, whatever. But yeah, and you can keep asking me questions and stuff. I'm curious if this would help because I remember last time we played, or I watched you play like ranked. It was like it was getting caught up in a lot of things like that were happening, but
Yeah.
ultimately Bryan is gonna get bullied. Bryan is gonna expose himself, but all he has to do is like land this and the game's over. What the fuck is the combo? What's the combo?
It was like 4-3-4 is just it's a reliable,
I see.
reliable filler answer.
Man, nobody playing the game right now.
What was I saying?
You're saying you're really competitive? That's the last one I remember.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, like I wonder if that's just like the that I keep coming back to is like, yeah, when I'm playing with randos or friends, yeah, when I'm playing Bryan, it's really easy for me to, I mean, like, cause I like being competitive and I like, I love Bryan, obviously, like, I'll ride with him until I die, but, yeah, it just becomes stressful and unfun and like upsetting. Eventually, it always I think it's because like I'm still kind of like subconsciously like asking more of myself, like I know this character and like kind of all the basic things that the basic reasons we would get tilted in the first place. Or like
Yeah. So, couple things. There is such a thing as like understanding your mental stamina. So like, if you're getting tilted because you're making mistakes, like you saw like in the game where I kind of cracked, and like started mashing a bunch, that was like the edge of my mental stamina, right? So like I started like pushing against that barrier. So I started making mistakes, and like recognizing that is important too, because you can be like, okay, I actually am playing clean. I'm just getting a bit tired, so I need to chill a bit, right? Or I need to be willing to handshake the mistakes that come with being tired if you're pushing through it, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is frustration is an indicator of a gap between reality and expectation. So if you're saying something like, I know this character, I shouldn't lose to this, that either means you don't, and like there's stuff to finish, like to refine, and like this new thing that's beating you is more data to add to your like algorithm or your data set to like beat them. And that's a good thing because it closes up holes that you didn't see that you had, right? Alternatively, it could be that you expect more of yourself skill-wise than you have developed. And in either of those cases, aligning reality with the expectation helps to relieve the frustration.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, ego has been like
Round
a giant
one.
thing for me for the past like year,
Fight.
2 years, which I guess is really like all that is. Excuse me.
Okay. No! I was doing down forward 2-3.
KO. Round 2.
Yeah, and part of it is that if you're always running away, there's a limited set of moves they can hit you with. Right? Like they will whiff otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. And here, I guess we have the advantage of being in
I don't know this one. I see him. He's kind of doing all this sidestep shit, right? Trying to get around my mids. See that? Like he was walking. I don't care about that. I'll just hit you with my tracking moves.
Round 3. Fight.
Damn.
Watch feed some ranks.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay, he's trying to walk. That's punish. No, he's blocking. Okay, so he's ducking. So now I know he's ducking. Like an adjust, right? Not only is he trying to sidestep right everything, he's ducking. I have one move that beats all that. Maybe I could be cheeky do that. Oh! Damn. Another combo. Oh, I'm a genius. No, he didn't die. Okay, sidestep right duck again, so he really is not changing.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Maybe rematch. I'll do one. Oh, he left. Okay, he's done. So yeah, like now obviously your default will be more optimized and more refined than mine for Bryan versus Dragunov. But my default, I was very confident that if I just backdash, he can't hit me with every move in his arsenal. He has down 2 and running 2. Everything else will probably whiff, right?
Yeah.
So as long as I don't get hit by that, I'm kind of chilling. And then he would run in and do some other shit, do some throws, do some other nonsense. And then if he's too obvious, I get my counter hit. If he's trying to not get counter hit, I can whiff punish if I'm better. I didn't get any, and then once he's like, oh, I know how to beat this, I'll sidestep right. And I was like, okay, down 2. It's so you're like, yeah, your eyes are a really important part. And I think, like, no shit, right? But like once you have really refined that ability to like take in the data of what they're doing and understand what counters what. Like I don't have a deep understanding of Bryan's kit. I just knew down 2 would beat sidestep right duck. So I was like, I have my default and then the counter to that. So he tried to implement his counter and I was like, great, down 2. And the game, for better or for worse, is sometimes that simple. So keep learning the details, like the interactions, the range threats, what beats what, like what characters can step your moves, things like that. And then look at what they're doing and like really like look at that. And then like if you catch yourself getting frustrated, really lock in again and like, am I seeing what they're doing? When we were playing, you were saying like you got lost at some point, things like that. This is your reference point. Your reference point is again like, what are they doing? Try to see everything. And it's a little silly, but that's something I really realized I needed to do probably in like October, very recently. And I started performing instantly, just way better. So like I really believe, based on like the way we play and like the way you mix me up and like outplay me in a lot of situations, once your eyes are like really attuned to the screen, you're gonna be a nasty. I'm pretty confident in that. Yeah, and then so take that, and if you find yourself getting frustrated, lock in on this, and if that's not working either, like take a break, like sit out, like don't grind through frustration. Let your mind reset, and then it's kind of like if you run like a marathon or you're training for a marathon. If you start feeling like ankle pain, like and you keep running, you're just gonna sprain it, So same way, give yourself like the recovery time, and then get back into it, and then you'll build up that muscle.
So then I know we're kind of already out of time, but like, what do you think? I mean, not that this is like the primary. I'm not using it as an excuse or anything, but like, because I lose, it's just easy for me to lose focus a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'll just like, super space out, and then I'll shit will have gone down, and then like in the match, and then, kind of come back to reality. I'm like, whoa, I have no idea where I am.
Yep, it's a muscle, like everything. I have that experience in bracket. A lot of my offlines is I'll like black out and then wake up after I lost and be like, what happened? So I totally get that. Like that's the reason I suggest this as your reference point, is like you put your eyes on the screen. Do you know the difference between when you like have music playing and when you're like really listening to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of like with Tekken. It's like you can be looking at the screen, but you're not like really looking at the screen.
Yeah.
that was the cue I used to myself to kind of lock back in. It's like, don't just hear the music, like listen to it. Don't just like look at the screen, like see what's happening. Like your attention here. So if you catch yourself drifting, that's okay. Like you are training, bringing it back, right?
Yeah.
Speed Kicks would have sessions where he would stream for like 24 hours or something, and his only goal was to keep focused, like to do this. So it's a skill and it's a muscle and it's hard to build, but it's very doable. So if you start catching yourself getting distracted or drifting off, that's a good thing, because that means you have noticed that you lost focus and now you know what to focus on again.
Yeah.
You just bring the muscle back. It's like a rep, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that sounds good.
Cheers. Yeah. No, I had a good time this session. I'll upload the thing so you can watch it back. And let me know how it goes. You can DM me anytime with questions or anything.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. As always, thanks a lot, man. I think you're super intelligent, and I appreciate you putting in the effort that you do.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I have a great time with our sessions. So looking forward to what you got.
Alrighty.
Peace out, man.
Good.